Hey, Samantha again. Welcome back to Milso TV Fridays. This week we have the option to talk about anything that we possibly want to. So I kind of struggled to come up with what I wanted to talk about. So I actually asked John while we were Skyping what he thought it would be a good idea for me to talk about on the channel. And I'm not gonna go with what he told me to do because if any of you saw on Tumblr, I posted like immediately because I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He recommended that I discuss the importance of SOs Skyping their boyfriend or girlfriend who's away, wearing only sexy lingerie. So, not gonna talk about that. If you see the title of my video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of trust in a military relationship. I should start by saying that I generally have trust issues as it is, whether it's a civilian or not that I'm dating. I've had a history of being cheated on and a history of boys just lying to me because they're afraid telling me the truth is going to hurt my feelings, but then I find out and I get hurt worse. So, I guess I'm like the kind of girlfriend that guys think of as like damaged. I don't know. I have a really hard time with it. But as many of you who have been watching the videos and follow me on Tumblr know, John's been my best friend since we were 9 years old. So I do have a lot of trust in him. I feel like I could trust him with my life. He's the person whenever I was in crisis mode about anything, I would go to him and not whoever I was dating at the time, not my family, not my girlfriends. Like, I went to him. So, and I mean, he knows everything about my relationship history, so I know he understands somewhat why I have issues with it. But I mean, I guess that's not the point. If I'm discussing why it's important to have trust in your SO if he or she is away. The main thing for me is not knowing who John is with. I struggle a lot with that because at least when he was home, I knew who his friends were. When he was home on leave, I got to meet friends that I hadn't met before when we were just friends, you know. Give me just a second, I'm cooking here. So when he's away, I mean, I don't know, I have no way of judging the character of the other airmen that he's around. I don't know the kind of things they're interested in or what they'd like him to do. You don't know. You can ask, but I mean, I know John, he doesn't lie to me. We had a serious talk about it because we were arguing quite a bit about being friends as long as we have been and like transitioning into a relationship. We shouldn't have any issues in trust because we didn't have issues with trust as friends. And he's made it very clear to me that he's not going to lie to me. He'd rather be straight up with me, and if it hurts my feelings, it hurts my feelings, but at least then we can talk about it and figure out why something hurts my feelings or why it bothers me. I think that's a really important thing for any couples to share, whether you're civilians or whether you're a military relationship couple or anything. I mean, you should be able to talk to each other about anything and be able to talk about it rather than have it break you. Because it's hard enough with distance in a relationship like ours are. That can be enough to break a couple. And questions about what he or she is doing is just going to lead to more problems. But I mean, just in general, with them being away, it's trust on both sides. I mean, John trusts that when I go out and I like to go, we have a place around my house, it's called The Bull, where we go line dancing and stuff, and I like to go there with my best friend on Thursday nights, and we just have a lot of fun. I mean, there's dances where you do have to dance with the guys that are there, and I mean, John trusts, whether it's at the bowl or whether it's anywhere else, if I'm sitting in one of my classes at college or not, you know, he trusts that I'm not going to take anything further than a dance or further than just a friendship and sitting next to each other in a row of desks, you know. And I try really hard to do the same with him. Given, I have to say, he's much better at it than I am. I'm such a Facebook stalker, it's awful. Like, I look and I'm like, okay, who is this that liked the status? And I look at who she is, and then I'm like, oh, she's in the Air Force. I wonder if they went to tech school together or if she's on base. And I don't know, I'm really bad about that. But I'm trying to learn to get to a point where, like, if I have a problem with something or a question or I'm uneasy, like, rather than coming to conclusions in my head, learning to just talk to him about it straight out. And especially with him being away, I think, I don't know, I think, like, society kind of just assumes that, like, the wandering eye is always on the man. And sometimes I do get sucked into that. I worry about, like, if he's spending time with people all the time, like, that work in the shop with him, or when they go out and have dinner or lunch or whatever all together, like, the people that he's with, like, I worry about that. I know I shouldn't, because I know how much he loves me and I know how much I love him, and people shouldn't get in the way of that, but inevitably it does. So, let me stir my food real quick. So, that said, one of the things that I'm trying to do to work on that is not ask so many questions. I know when I think about things too hard, I create problems that aren't really there. So if I stop asking, like, every time he says he's going somewhere, if I stop asking, like, oh, where are you going? Even though I might mean it innocently, like, it's going to start running things in my head and all of that junk. It's so frustrating. And then I'm trying to keep myself busy here too, so that my life doesn't revolve around, like, what he's doing there, because I've gotten to a point where I'm tired of, like, the pointless arguments, and I know he's over it too. And I always seem to start them. So, yeah. One of the things I'm doing to try and prevent that is going to, like, my girlfriends first. Like, I know I can always text my best friend Elisa if I'm pissed off at him for whatever reason. I'll text her and I'll be like, this is what John just said to me. This is what I want to say. Like, talk to me so that I'm not, like, being mean on purpose, because I do that. I'll, like, say something because I know it's gonna hurt him, and that's really bad. Sometimes I think I'm an awful girlfriend. But, I mean, I guess what it comes down to, like, regardless of how you're going to deal with it or what your history with trust is that if you're going to be a military girlfriend, if you have trust issues, you need to learn to get over it. And if you don't have existing trust issues, then you need to make sure you don't create them for yourself, because you're apart for so long. The best thing to do is not think about the what ifs, like, because I know I run that through my head all the time, and then I sit at home and I have, like, an anxiety attack, and then he's like, babe, you need to calm down. Like, there's no reason to be freaking out. So yeah, I mean, this has been, like, really rambly, but I mean, that's the biggest problem I have right now as an SO, is just trusting that the distance isn't going to give way for infidelity. I'm very much a monogamous person, and I know he is too. He's very devoted. He went a long time without being in a relationship because he didn't want to start a new serious relationship and still want to go through that, like, sowing your wild oats phase or whatever. But yeah. So I guess the way that I'll close this is there's a comment box below. If any of you have any tips on what you do to build trust despite the distance, I would really appreciate that. That could come in handy for me. What some of you girls and guys do to just make it a little easier on yourself. I'm sorry this hasn't been much of an informative post this week, but it's the biggest thing on my heart right now, so I would much appreciate anything you guys have to offer. And also, if you have any topics that you might want me to talk about next week, maybe that'll help me be a little more focused. I'm clearly not 100% like here today. As you can see, I'm like getting ready for work and I'm so yeah, thanks for watching, and like I said, any tips you might have, please put in the comment box below or send them to my ask on Tumblr. I'm samcran.tumblr.com, and I'll see you next Friday.